Yo, 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 it's X, and welcome to What's Out. It's 2020, it's 2023, baby. Here we go. Yo, Crizzo, how you been, brother?
Been good, man. Been good. What I'm saying? Living life, doing well, prospering, in abundant, and yeah, excited to
Crizzo,
to bring my boy in.
Before we introduce our homie, Joe the King, you got to plug out some of the things you got going on. People are wondering, where's Crizzo? What is he doing? Tell the people what you've been up to, man.
All right, I got you. But your screen is kind of like, um, is it just me or is he
Yeah,
also?
he just lagged on me a little bit.
Yeah, like your screen is a little lagged, but um, yeah, I can still get into what I'm currently doing or whatever. So, still out here in the Keys, doing what I'm doing, still personal training, still, doing moves, business moves, still increasing my spiritual knowledge as well as like my inner understanding. Business and spirituality, I feel like, does go hand in hand sometimes, if not all the time. um, and using those things to mesh together in order to get to where you want to get to. Yeah, oh, there he is. So, yeah, so right now, still in the Keys. Thinking on moving. Well, not thinking. I am planning on moving pretty soon. I'm not saying when, but just know I am. And yeah, just pretty much living a life of abundance. You know what I'm saying?
Out here killing it on the LinkedIn, killing it on Crizzo's Canvas, killing it on Crizzo's Fitness. Crizzo's building an empire. So that's where Crizzo's been. But today is not about Crizzo. It's not about myself. Today is about Joe the King. How are you, brother?
Appreciate you, appreciate you. Yeah, I'm doing amazing, man. Life's just been beautiful. It's really been beautiful, and I just feel like that feeling when like something big is coming. Like that's just really how I've been feeling. Like like I feel it, I feel it. It's on the way. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk to you guys, and everything's just working out on the right time. Let's get into it.
Yo, so how would you describe someone who just doesn't know you whatsoever? How would you describe yourself?
I would say that I'm a manifester, an investor, an innovator, and an entrepreneur. Um, I've been in business for myself for many years now, about a half a decade now, and I remember when I first got started in entrepreneurship. I was working at UPS, and I was moving boxes, just loading up trucks. Honestly, hated what I was doing. I was always looking for a better opportunity, and I ended up going on vacation. Now you guys know that feeling when you're on vacation, right? You're loving it. It feels amazing. The sun's hitting you. You're in the hot tubs, room service. Just living the life. And I remember that last day came around, and I realized, like, damn, like, yo, like, this vacation is over now. Like, I have to go back to reality. I have to go back to moving boxes at UPS. And I remember, getting back in the States and like, driving home, and I remember looking at the sunset, and I was like, God, what do I have to do that every day can feel like vacation? And my friend calls me, and he's like, yo, I got this opportunity for you. So then that's kind of really how my entrepreneurship journey really got started. Just with a simple call and a simple question. I felt like I had asked, and I was given right then and there. And from there on, I got into multiple different avenues, from financial services to building brands to getting into investing, learning about cryptocurrencies. Just all different areas of creating streams of income. And it's been an amazing journey. It's been amazing. There's ups, there's been downs, but it's just all been about growth. And yeah,
So what are the building blocks? What were the building blocks leading up to UPS? How were you in school? Were you part of the system? How would you describe yourself?
that's actually a good question. So when I was in school, I remember in my younger years, I didn't really have a lot of confidence in myself. And a lot of things kind of happened where I ended up moving out of state. Like, me and my mom ended up moving out of New Jersey to South Carolina, and back to New Jersey and to Georgia, and just moving all around. And I felt like at that time when we were younger, like, speaking of me and my mother, we were kind of running away from things. Instead of kind of really fixing the situation, we were kind of running away from things and kind of had a victim mentality. And, throughout that process, I was able to kind of learn about how the world works. And it's crazy. My mom actually had a boyfriend that wasn't really too nice and ended up getting kicked out of our house. And he left all of his stuff. And there was a CD. There was a whole bunch of CDs, but one specific CD stuck out to me, and it was called The Secret. And I ended up watching The Secret over and over and over again. And it started talking about the law of attraction and how the world worked. And my life kind of just changed from there. I started, realizing that I can create my reality. I wasn't just the victim of my life, but I was more in the driver's seat. I had control. I was the one with the controller in my hand. I was moving my life around. And if these things were coming into my life, it wasn't because of people around me. It was because of me. I needed to start changing with inside of me, and my outer reality would change. And going into high school, I started developing myself and started, having more confidence within myself and started learning how the things that I want, I can bring it into my life. And I started getting into reading and self improvement and, working on myself, going to the gym. And I started to see more value within myself. And I remember one day I kind of just had that realization with myself. I sat down with myself and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm addicted to video games. I love video games. And I was like, why do you love video games? Like, I was just really just having this conversation with myself. Like, why do you love video games so much? And they were like, and I'm saying they were like, I'm talking about myself. And I'm like, it's because, I like leveling my character up. I like seeing myself grow. I like, getting all the gears and the level ups and the achievements and the badges and, getting the diamond guns and getting the cars and GTA and building houses in Minecraft and all these things. And I realized, like, wait, so you're sitting here spending hours and hours and hours a day on this virtual reality when if you just worked on yourself, you could have it in real life. And it clicked in my head. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to do it in real life. And I remember being younger, like always watching like entrepreneurship and Pimp My Ride and all these reality TV shows and seeing that there was people that were living at the highest levels of success of life. And I said, I can do it. I remember my mom telling me when I was younger, she said, you're going to be a young millionaire. I remember her saying that to me over and over again. And I didn't really like think anything of it. Um, but now it's just like all those little building blocks from there have kind of created, I really who I would say who I am today. And I mean, I'm just getting started, but yeah, that's what I would say. Like, just having those realizations with myself and um, the right things coming into my life from my mom having an abusive boyfriend to having a CD that kind of changed my life. So it's like the little things that we think are negative can end up being that amazing positive thing that could put you in a whole nother direction of life.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, it's amazing coming from that abusive boyfriend to him leaving. Who he could have had a whole number of things that he could have left behind. He could have left behind some pornography. He could have left behind so many ill stuff that wouldn't have been any value to you. But so much there was a CD that actually brought value to your life and actually was life changing. So it's amazing to hear.
Definitely,
Yeah, man.
definitely, it's amazing.
Everything happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like things don't happen just because, right? Things happen in life that leads to one way, that's trying to point you to a different direction. Right? So it's like we have free will, but at the same time, things are destined to be. Right? It's just that the things that are destined to be, it's your free will to get into that direction, but you have to notice the things that are put in front of you in order to get to that direction. You see what I'm saying? So even though it was there, it was on you to actually pick up that CD and watch it. All right, and you are where you are today, and yeah, I think that's an amazing story, man, and I think that's great, man. So So
And Joe,
tell us
you
a little.
also could, my bad, Chris. Joe, you also could have just said, I'm not gonna look at this video whatsoever because this dude's an a hole, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
could have easily done that too. My bad, Chris.
True.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, tell us a little bit about like what's behind you. Like I'm over here looking at you, but I'm also seeing stuff that's also behind you. You got the dollar bill, you got the cars, you got the chakra. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell us a little bit about, what's your thought process on that right there.
So one thing that I've studied and began to realize is that your mind is a sponge,
Yes.
and everything that you're continuing to look at is kind of influencing the way that you think. So my whole room is one big vision board. Whenever I open my eyes, I could just drift off and look at my wall, and something on my wall will inspire me in some way, shape, or form. Um, but yeah, I realized that your life is all based off of the thoughts that you're having and the decisions that you're making. And the more that you look at the things that you desire, you kind of start taking those steps towards those things. So I put reminders basically all over my room of really who I am. And this is kind of like my office in a way. I remember saying when I was younger, like, yo, I want to work from home. How can I work from home? And yeah, it just kind of came about. But yeah, everything around me is really all to inspire me and to, just like keep my mind, reminding me of who I am, you know. And it's cool because it's like, what a vision board is for anybody that doesn't know. You're basically putting your goals and dreams on a piece of paper, and you're really able to during the process of creating it, you're getting excited about the things that you desire, from maybe where you want to live to who you want to meet, or a certain milestone or goal that you want to have, or different things like that. You're able to put it up and look at it every single day, and it reminds you of, what, this is where I'm going, this is who I'm going to be. And you start taking those steps, and the more you see something, the more it comes into your life. You ever had, talked about somebody over and over again, or, you just had a simple thought like, oh yeah, how is so-and-so doing? And then boom, out of nowhere, they call you on the phone. Like, that's not a coincidence. That's really how our mind works. Everything is a frequency. We're putting out energy, and, the same energy is coming back to you. So it's like, you looking at something, you're slowly starting to bring it into your reality. From the little things to the big things. Sometimes things take a little bit longer, but just know when you have your vision set on something, it will come into your life. And I mean, I've been able to see it firsthand. So yeah, like my whole room is just to inspire me and remind me of where I'm going, and yeah, who I'm becoming.
So back to your story after the vacation, you get a call from your friend. What
Mm-hmm.
were the next steps after that call?
So the next steps after that call, I ended up going down to an office, and I started learning about financial services. I got into life insurance and investments, and that was kind of like my first business venture, you could say. And I remember saying to him, I was like, "Nah, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm working at UPS. Like, I'm good." And it's crazy because it's like I could have like really blocked my blessings right there, because it was just like you just was asking God, like, yo, God, how could I live every day like vacation? And then a friend calls literally like 15 minutes later. It was like a coincidence. Like, people say, oh, it's a coincidence. Um, but yeah, he introduced me to an opportunity, and I started learning about, life insurance, investments, getting out of debt. I started learning about, financial education, and I ended up running um, an insurance brokerage. Built the business to, I would say, well over six figures. Recruited, I think it was like about 700 something people. And throughout that process, I had just learned a lot more about financial services, and then just also about people. Um, and just connecting with people and socializing. My confidence definitely grew a lot being in that industry, just speaking to people, getting on Zoom calls every day, going out prospecting, putting yourself out there. I remember, there's times where I used to go around the mall. People be like, "Oh, do I know you?" And it's because I like, spoke to them at the mall. I would walk up to people like, hey, I got an opportunity for you. Are you open to making some more money? I can take down your number. We can, talk more about it. He's got thousands and thousands of numbers doing that. And I got a lot of rejection as well. So throughout that process, I kind of, built my own confidence and, just with connecting with people, speaking to people from all different, walks of life. And yeah, it really helped me with just learning more about myself and also learning more about other people.
That's great. How do you overcome rejection, and how do you open yourself up to receive blessings, right? Like, how do you recognize when something is a blessing and something is like a distraction? And how do you, like the first question, like how do you not get discouraged when it comes to rejection, whether that's from people, whether that's from um, you know, different opportunities? Like, how do you not get discouraged from something happening to you?
That's a good question. So the first one with rejection, um, I had realized that I was great and that I had something amazing to offer. So, I kind of came from a lot of self love where if I'm getting rejected, it's their loss in a way. I don't know how to explain it. Like at first, it was kind of just like a mechanism, like, oh, like if you say no to me, all right, cool, like it's your loss kind of thing. But then I started to realize, like, no, like the value that I bring to people, if they say no to me, they're just missing out. I had at that time, I believed that that was the best opportunity in the world, and obviously it isn't. There's a lot of more opportunities out there, but at that time I had it locked in my head that if you're saying no to me, then you're missing out on an opportunity that's going to change your life. So, going up to people, if people said no to me, it wasn't a big deal because I realized that, the value that I'm bringing to you is it's your loss if you say no, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I even felt bad for people like, damn, like, you're stuck here and I have something that can change your life, but you're not willing to be open to it. But then I also, been able to trickle that over to relationships as well, where like, maybe I'm, trying to talk to a certain girl and she doesn't want to talk to me or whatever the case may be. It's like, all right, it's all good. Like, listen, I know how great I am. I know the type of person, I know what I'm gonna bring into your life. So it's all good, So I've been able to relate that over to a lot of different parts of my life. But it all goes back to knowing who you are. If you don't know who you are, then you feel like you need people or need an opportunity, but you're in an abundant state of mind where you know that everything is open. That if this door isn't opening, that there's 10 other doors, thousands of doors that are waiting to be open. And honestly, if somebody's saying no, they're probably saving you time. I feel like there shouldn't have to be resistance and grinding and fighting. Like things should be able to flow. Those things that have came easy in your life, they came easy in your life. You didn't really have to work super duper hard and have to really stress over it. Those things that we're usually stressed over, they're usually not here anymore. But things that kind of just flew in and it was just easy going and you enjoyed the process, they stick around forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of times when people go into um, uh, rejection, they handle it in a negative way. And that's because, the ego is always searching for survival, always searching for comfort, and not searching for, the complete opposite, which is what you need to do. A lot of people, oh, this, she rejected me, or I can't get this job, or whatever. There's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
There's an issue with me, not them. And, let's say you get fired from a job, or your girlfriend leaves you, or whatever. Instead of thinking like, oh, what was me, it's my problem, it's my fault. Shift the perspective, right? Now I have more time to look up, find better opportunities, right? Now I have more, that's her loss, right? Because I know who I am. I recognize the power that is within me, right? Like, you understand your value, and when you understand your value and your worth, you understand that it's not you, it's them. um, and also just with being open to opportunities. Opportunities are everywhere. You just have to find them, and you just have to be open. Not even finding, because finding is the energy of pursuing. You just have to be open to it. The energy of receiving,
Mhm.
acceptance,
Yep.
right? When you receive and you accept, that's when the universe is going to respond to you, because the universe doesn't respond to beg, and chase. It responds to the complete opposite. It responds to, you know, I'm open, I'm receiving, and stuff like that. So I really resonated with what you were saying. So another question, how do you feel about so a lot of spiritual people, they have a conception when it comes to like money and finance, and they think that it's like, matrixy, it's very materialistic. Oh, you want cars, you want this house, you want all this money. Like, this is very the complete opposite of spirituality. It's very materialistic. Spirituality is about going out in nature, detaching from society, leaving everything, leaving the cars in the house, living in a tree house, walking barefoot. So what would you say to those spiritual people who have that kind of conception of, you know uh you know escaping this form of lifestyle, this luxury, materialistic, money, wealth, versus, more nature oriented? Like, how would you respond to those people?
That's a good question. One thing that I've begun to realize is that us as human beings, human becomings, we're always evolving. And throughout this evolution, money is something that is a part of our life now, you know. But I don't look at money like it's just money. I look at money as energy. I look at money as a tool. I look at money as something that can bring you more value to your life. See, the thing is, sometimes people look at money as everything, or if I have money, it's going to make me this. But in all reality, money is just magnifying who you are. Money just gives you more options. So, whoever you are right now, all that money would do is just make you more of who you are. If you're an evil person, now you have more access to be evil. If you're a very giving person, now you have more access to give. You can fly across the world and give to more people in different places. You can buy more buildings to help more people around the world. You can support more people. I just believe that money gives you more options. That's all it really is. And some people are very, you could say, materialistic. I love just the finer things of life. I feel that we should be able to live life with no limits. Whatever you desire, I feel that you should be able to have it. Not from a place of, I have to just penny pinch and live in lack, and I just have to have the minimum. No, I believe that you should be able to live like royalty. You know, that's what I see. That, this is what our ancestors came from. We were the kings and queens, and different things like that. We were having the finer things, having gold, and living in lavish all over the world. So it's just like, I feel like that's just me going back to my ancestry. At the same time, but it's not just for me. I believe that everybody can have it. This world is huge. There's an abundance of everything. I honestly um never really cared about money. But I realized that if I'm gonna bring money into my life, I have to like money. And I believe that money likes me. And I believe that because money likes me, it's gonna continue to come to me, and I'm gonna be able to do more good things with money. But if everything was just unlimited, which it is, there's unlimited amounts of water, there's an unlimited amount of land. Everybody could have, like, I think it was like 20. I gotta do the math again. If we divide up the amount of land in this world between the amount of people in this world, everybody would have acres and acres and acres of land. So there's an unlimited amount of water, there's an unlimited amount of land, fruits grow on trees, animals are being born every day, even though I don't eat animals, except for seafood. um, there's an like at this point, gold is still being found today. There's diamonds everywhere. There's an unlimited amount of everything, but they hoard it.
Right.
They have gatekeepers. So they're hoarding these things and then telling us, oh, you have to pay this amount for it, even though it's an abundance of it. There's an abundance of amount of trees. Concrete is being made every single day. There's an abundance of everything. So in my eyes, I really don't see money as anything but just a tool that they want us to use.
So let me ask
But
you
in
this.
all reality, it should be unlimited. There should be an unlimited amount of everything for everybody. That's what I see.
So let me ask you this question. If everything is unlimited, which I agree, why are there gatekeepers in the first place to hoard everything or to create this system of scarcity, right? Capitalism, not to get too, you know, economical capitalism, socialism, whatever. Capitalism is fundamentally based upon scarcity, right? You have to have the newest car because the old one is outdated. You have to
Right.
have the newest this. There's not enough, houses. This new house is over here. You gotta get this one. So there's even though there is an abundance, they create this illusion of scarcity for everybody to buy, right? So why do you think there are number one, why is there gatekeepers in the first place? Number two, if there is an abundance, why are we not all eating the fruit of that tree, if you will?
I just believe it's a part of control. At the end of the day, when you have unlimited amounts of money, um, you can go anywhere you want to go. You can buy anything that you want to buy. What else is there to do? But control. So when there's amounts of higher power and not higher power, but there's higher levels of control, that's the game. It's just all about when you have a limited amount of money, what else is there to control but people?
Good
Um,
point.
so that's really that. I don't even really want to speak too much on it, but yeah, that's the game, and um, at the end of the day, that's what we're living for. I mean, not to live for that, but like that this is what it is, and either we can roll over and just say, oh well, I'm just gonna stay here and be whatever, or you can just play the game and just live the life to the fullest at the end of the day. Um, I see it about helping as many people as possible. I don't know if you remember all these movies that used to come out like Hunger Games and freaking. There's just all these different movies that just show you how life is and how it's competition. And at the end of the day, I just believe that my job here is just to help as many people as possible, and that we all just link hands and come together and just be the best version of you as you could be. Because if you're strong, if you're connected to yourself, if you believe in yourself and you're helping other people around you, you're gonna get somewhere. I feel like this life is all about just being the best version of you, enjoying life, learning, experiencing. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. So that's what we came here to do. We came here to have this physical experience. And just imagine if you couldn't feel,
Mm.
So
you
Joe,
couldn't taste.
you describe yourself as an innovator, and after having a conversation with you for just a little time here, I can see you're more of a big picture type guy. you're kind of seeing 10 years, 20 years down the future. Number one, what does that look like for you? What do you want to see in those 10, 20 years as a big picture guy? And then how do you relay your message to people that you work with or that you want to share your vision with when they're not so open minded? Let's put it like that, right?
Mhm. That's a good question. Um, I would say, all right, I'm sorry, what was the first question again?
So being an innovator, what is it going to look like for you in the next, what does the next 10, 20 years look like for you? And then how do you, communicate that to someone who is more narrow minded than you are?
No, yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, I see multiple businesses. Me and Chris, we have the same vision of building an empire. So that's definitely something where, bringing like-minded, strong individuals together to build, organizations, build businesses, build something of our own that, when it's all said and done, we have something that can be passed down from generation to generation to generation, because it's really about you and your bloodline. When you're no longer here, what are you leaving behind? And it could be, it could be wealth, it could be resources, it can be knowledge. So that's my main thing. Just impacting as many people as possible and just being happy, like just enjoying myself throughout this journey. Um, I remember at one point in time, like, even like I feel like I kind of have to start updating. As you grow, you continue to update, your vision. And at one point, it was like, I want millions of dollars and I want to have this car, I want to do this, and I still do, and I'm still gonna have those things. But now it's just like, no, I just want to be happy. All of those things lead back to one thing. You say, okay, I started to break it down to myself again. Okay, let's say you want a Lamborghini. Why do you want a Lamborghini? Well, I like the car. It's a nice car. Okay, well, what about the car do you like? Oh, it's sleek, it's clean. Okay, well, you having that car, how is it gonna make you feel? It's gonna make me feel special and this and that. People are gonna start to look at you. Well, why do you want people to look at you? Because I want to feel good about myself when people look like you. I broke it down and realized, like, bro, you just want to be happy. You want to feel special and you want to be loved. That's everybody. Everybody wants that. Break it all the way down. Bring it all the way down. You want to feel special and you want to be loved. So it's like people ask me, "What's your goal?" I just want to be. I want to feel special. And I want to be loved. I want to be happy. Like, everything. Listen. However, God, however you want it, God, whatever is best for me, that's how I want it. I just want to feel special and I want to feel loved. I want to be happy. Whatever is the best way to bring that into my life, that's what I want.
And how do you help someone who's narrow minded or just plain ignorant? How do you help them find that for themselves? And
I
obviously, you can't make them find it, right? But like,
Yeah.
where can you guide them? Where can you guide them?
I let people know that they gotta love themselves. Like, I had a friend of mine, I told her, I was like, I want you to write down everything that you love about yourself. Because once you start to begin to love yourself, then you start to, set little standards for yourself and you start to work on yourself and you feed yourself the right things. And that's definitely something I want to talk about. I feel like that's something I continue to preach, what you feed yourself, not just in your mouth, but everywhere. But we're gonna get to that. But yeah, just letting people know, love yourself, value yourself. Um, and that's something that I definitely had, I'm still continuing to work on. That, when you love yourself and you truly care about yourself, you set standards for yourself. And, you don't just let anything and anyone in. And when you do that, you are able to really bring in what you want into your life.
Beautiful.
I felt like a lot of times, like, we didn't really love ourselves, or we didn't really care about ourselves like that. But then once we started to take ourselves serious, like, yo, like, I'm him, or I'm her, or wow, like, I actually said I was gonna do this and I did it. I had this thought in my mind and it happened. It's like, yo, I'm actually special, you know?
Beautiful. Yeah. And I just want to bring it back to what you were saying earlier, is that self-image. Your self-image means everything. Um, don't mistake it to being prideful, but to be grateful, right? Be grateful for who you are. Don't be prideful, because when you're prideful, you're like, braggish and like you're bragging and you're boasting of like, oh, look at me, look at you, da da da. But just be grateful and embrace who you are. That is the real key to self love and self acceptance, right? Understand, like, I'm not as tall as I want to be. I'm not as strong as I want to be. I'm not as fast, whatever. Everybody has things that they don't like about themselves, and that's okay. But what you have to do, though, is that you have to embrace who you are and improve who you are. Psycho-cybernetics talk about this. It's an amazing book, Psycho-cybernetics. Read it a while ago. Probably gonna read it again. Um, Basically, talks about the self, the mind, and in its own vision that you have within yourself, like how you envision yourself. People that there'll be like people who do plastic surgery, and some people would come out completely different, and their attitude would change, and some
Mm-hmm.
people it wouldn't change at all. And the writer of that book was fascinated by that concept, like, why is this the case? Why is this some people react differently to the self-image and not? And that's pretty much what he found. He found that it is the self-image that athletes do before they go to the game, right? Envisioning themselves already winning the game, coming in the game already knowing that they won the game. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. Anyways, so but yeah, so I definitely agree, and everything does boil down to love. Everybody wants to be loved at the end of the day, man. Everybody wants to be appreciated at the end of the day, man. That's really what it is, to know that your efforts are being recognized, to know that the things that you do um, is being noticed, because people people nowadays feel like they're not seen. People nowadays feel like they're not appreciated. They go on social media, see all these people. Oh man, look how many likes this person got. Look how much love this person got. And they look at their own life like, damn, nobody's checking up on me. Damn, my family never wanted, ask me how I'm doing. All my friends ghosted me. I have nobody. It's me against the world. You know, but you have to look in the mirror and say, but the world is right in front of me. I'm looking at the world. I create what is around me. Once you shift, once you make that shift in identity, and you recognize the true power that you have, that God gave you, then you can move through life in a way, in accordance that God intended you to, move like, you know. So, uh, yeah, man, that's kind of my thought process with that. I mean, but yeah, I definitely agree. So,
So Joe, you were talking about earlier on growing up, had a bit of a victim mentality. I think that is common in our community. Um, how did you break that? How did you break that?
I started to realize that things that I focus on continue to come into my life. Um, and I started to also realize that, these things that people are pointing out about me, either one, it's because it's really special and it's different from the rest, or two, it's because I really need to work on it. So it's either that it's actually something that's really special and people are, maybe a little insecure about it, or that I just need to work on it. So when I started to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm going to work on these things, I'm going to make myself better, things were going to be able to start coming into my life and benefiting me. But when I had that mentality that, oh, things are just always bad for me and whatever the case may be, I was able to, continue to bring those negative situations into my life. And like I said, when I started to think about the things that, like just learning more about how the world works, and the more that I focus on the things that I didn't want in my life, they kept on coming into my life. So when I started to really focus, I say, you know what, I'm just going to focus on the good. And if there is a problem or there is a challenge, I'm going to better myself in that area. So yeah, that's really kind of how that worked. But yeah.
I feel that. Yeah, I was just wondering because I heard early. I was listening to a story about the Rockefeller family and how their father essentially, or John Rockefeller, is like made like his father kind of instilled the fear of like don't trust anybody. So when he became a billionaire, he didn't trust anybody. He didn't even trust his own family. So they still have this generational wealth, but it's all about control because they don't trust anybody. So that's what I was wondering, and it kind of spoke onto what you were saying earlier about like watch what you're like feeding yourself. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? Watch what you're telling yourself, because like he could have easily he could have easily broke what his father was trying to do by saying don't trust anybody, and he could have had a little more trust in his life, and probably would have been a way better historical figure than he is now. Right now, he's like the world's like most evil villain, right? But it's because he was taught not to trust anybody. So that was what just came by when we were having this conversation. If you got anything on that too, like you could speak on that as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Going back to what you feed yourself, I realized that everything is gates. You have your eye gates, your ear gates, your nose, your mouth. These are all gates. So what you feed yourself, most people are always thinking, okay, well, I got to eat the right foods. I got to eat healthy. Yes, that is one, but another one is what you're watching. What are you looking at on a day to day? What are you listening to? So I started to change the things that I was looking at and the things that I was listening to. Before I did used to listen to a lot of negative music. You remember being a kid and your mom yelled at you, or your little girlfriend in middle school broke up with you, so you went home and listened to sad music, and then you were even more sad, right? So I started to realize that the things that you continue to listen to kind of create and paint your world. Um, I used to watch a lot of scary movies, and then I would have scary dreams, and then I would
Low
walk
vibration.
low vibrational, and then from there I was moving around scary. I'm looking left, I'm looking right, I'm looking over my shoulder all the time because I was putting myself in that energy of that scarce, sketchy energy. Um, so I realized that those things that I'm watching are highly affecting my reality. I started to change the music that I was listening to. A lot of some of the songs were really negative and like bringing me down or making me angry. So I started to change my music and I started becoming very particular with the songs that I listen to, with the words, that if I'm singing this song and if the words don't match with what I want in my life, then I shouldn't be listening to the song. Because I believe that, life and death is in the power of your tongue. So the words that you speak create your reality. So if I'm listening to a song and it's talking about popping perks and going crazy and going retarded, then that's my reality. I start getting more influenced by those things. I start hanging around people that are more in that energy, but if I'm listening to songs about winning and success and growth and self-love, then I'm in that energy of those things, you know? Even on YouTube, instead of just sitting watching drama filled shows or, Netflix or whatever the case may be, I turn on YouTube and I'm learning something. I'm growing myself. I'm bringing more knowledge. It's funny, I've grown up in a lot of, Latino households and different things like that. And a lot of them, like a lot of the parents would always have soap operas on. And, soap operas are real, like, crazy, filled with drama and all that kind of thing. And then, there's always that stereotypical, oh, like Latinos are crazy. But then I started to realize, like, like every Latino, like a lot of Latino households that I'm in, they're always watching soap operas. And I was like, is that a correlation that, like, they're always watching soap operas filled with drama, then their life is filled with drama? And I was like, nah, is that a coincidence or is that how it is? And I was like, nah, like that's really how it works. The things that you watch, the things that you listen to create your reality.
And you know what I realized on for black people is the Judge shows, the Jerry shows, the Maury
Mm-hmm.
shows, like all that, like all that drama that everybody like to watch is like that drama you can't like can't take your eyes away from, and then we wonder why we got so much drama or so many, you know, people in the streets, right? Like you wonder why this behavior is going, but it's like you're putting your attention towards that, and those shows still get views, and TV not even popular no more. And those shows still getting crazy views, you know.
Yep. What you watch really controls your life. Go ahead, Chris.
I was also gonna say I was also gonna add to that. Um, Not only the TV, right? Television, vision, right? It's telling you how to, vision your life, right? Subliminal wording, and that's with everything. Currency, the current of the money flow, cash flow, right? Current, the bank, water bank, you know. But anyway, so also too, social media. I had to clean out a huge chunk of my social media. I had like almost 2,000 accounts followed. Now it's less than 1,000. I unfollowed a lot of accounts, things that was not serving me to be where I want to be. Um, because social media is the new TV, right? It's even more worse than because at least when you was a kid, you was watching TV, you would know that is the TV, even though it was subconsciously like program you. You would know, oh, that's reality TV. Oh, that's just a TV show. Oh, that's just a movie. But with social media, it's a little different. You think that is real life. You think, oh yes, this, and not knowing people Photoshop, not knowing that people take out a huge loan to go travel and not even uh be actually live that lifestyle that they claim that they live. you know
Not even mentioning those the Dubai models, man. That's one of the
yeah,
saddest things.
exactly. So and people think that that is reality, and people feed their mind to that. you know you have these ultra attractive people. When you walk every day, it's like, all these people are not attractive, and your expectations over here, but everyday people may not be like that. Maybe some a few, but the point of what I'm trying to say is that it's distorting people's reality in a way that they think that's how it should be, right? So for me, just limiting my time on that uh, is what I'm struggling with, but I'm still trying to, balance that out too as well. Because if you are gonna watch social media, is it gonna be for inspiration? Is it gonna be for an idea? Right? Like, who do you watch? Who do you follow? And the people that you do watch, content that you do follow, does that bring you inspiration? Do they, spark an idea for you to do something unique in your own way? Same thing as YouTube. Right? Are you building skills on YouTube? Are you building knowledge on YouTube? Are you, watching the right things that you need to watch? Are you reading the right things that you need to read in order to be the type of person you want to be? Like follow the people that you want to be in 10 years or similarly in 10 years. So just be more aware. Practice awareness. Awareness is a huge key when it comes to reality. Because the more you become aware, the more you're able to watch how you say things and watch not only your emotions and your words, but your actions. Because your emotions turns into your words, and your words turn into actions, and your actions turn into your life. So watching those things, being more aware of that is huge. So
Definitely, awareness is a big part to it. And everything is influencing you and brainwashing you. I believe that everything is brainwash. Brainwash sounds like a pretty like harsh word, but it's true. You're being influenced by everything around you, from the conversations that you have every single day to the things that you're watching on your phone, to the things that you're watching on TV, to the music that you're listening to the food, to the ads. Why do you think celebrities make so much money? Because they are influencing the masses. Why do you think Super Bowl commercials are so highly, paid for? It's because millions and millions of people are going to be attending this event and watching. So this advertisement is so important that they want to put this Coca-Cola commercial out because they know millions of people are going to see Coca-Cola and say, you know what? Today I feel like buying a Coca-Cola. It's all about influence and what you're focused on and what you're viewing and what you're watching. So down to the conversations that you're having. If you're having a conversation to someone every single day about how bad life is, you're bringing more of that into your reality. And that's why, like Chris said, your awareness is so important. You being aware of, how does this make me feel? What am I watching? Because I've been able to start catching myself where I'll start scrolling on Instagram and I have to catch myself saying, hold on. Why am I on here? What is the objective for me being on here right now? What am I looking for something, or am I just drifting on here? Now I give myself a task. I'm going on Instagram because I'm looking for a video about this. I'm going on this. I'm looking for this. You have to, it's either you're going to control yourself or society is going to control you. It's just like that. So you have to be the one in control, because a lot of people are just drifting through life. Work, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Go to a party, Saturday, Sunday, go to church, start all over. Work. Boom, boom, boom. All right, one vacation, 2 vacation for the year. Work. Like it's just the system that's being made. But when you say, you know what, stop, I'm gonna take control of my life. I want to do this. I want to make this happen. Then you're not a part of the system. You got to be who you want to be. You got to start asking yourself those questions, like, who am I? Who do I really want to be? Like my brother Tony says, shout out to Tony from Montana. Who were you before the world told you who you were? It's deep. Who told you? Who are you before the world told you who you were? So you got to be the one in control of your life, and there's so much to it. But the beautiful thing about the world that we're living in, like I was saying before, we're always evolving. We're human becomings. Is that we have so much more information at our fingertips. People can say, "Oh my God, the world's going to crap," but I don't think so. I believe that the world is becoming beautiful. You have so much more access. You have so much more control than you ever did before. You have so many more resources. It's all on your perception. It's how you're looking at the world. Are you looking at the world as horrible and things are always going bad for you? Or are you looking at the world like, you know what? There's always room for opportunity. There's amazing people all around me. There's so much good things that are going to happen in my life. When you start looking at the life like that, it comes in. That's the part that they don't want you to know, that you are in control of your life. You got to be that narrator. They say, oh, they made it seem like, oh, why are you talking to yourself? Oh my goodness, you're crazy if you're talking to yourself. But that's the power. When you start to talk to yourself, and I'm not saying out loud, like, hey, Joseph, like, but when you're just having that conversation with yourself throughout the day, like, you know what? Today's going to be a good day. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm excited about this. When you start to narrate your life, you're prophesizing. I don't know if you ever heard someone say, like, oh, yeah, you have to prophesize over your life. You have to speak it into the way you want it to be. But when you continue to say, you know what, right now, this present moment, I'm going to focus on what's going on. You know what, this is an amazing podcast. We've had great conversations so far. I'm excited I've been able to meet you guys. Like, when you start to narrate your life and say, you know what, I'm going to do amazing. Before we even got started, say, you know what, I'm going to inspire somebody. When you go into work today, say, you know what, I'm going to meet somebody new. I'm going to make a new connection. Shoot, I'm going to do so well, I'm going to get a promotion. Or say, you know what, today I'm going to get a new customer in my business. Today I'm going to push myself to the next level in the gym. You got to be able to tell yourself, you know what, this is what I am. Because it's either you're going to control yourself or the world is going to control you. You start to see how AI and people are starting to get a little bit closer and closer and closer together. These phones is like damn near attached to us at this point. They want to put technology where you are just being fed information and then you're taking action on that information instead of you having the information inside of you and then you taking action. They want it to be like, do this, and then you do it instead of you being in control and saying, no, I'm going to do this myself. Because a lot of times today, people don't realize that they think they're controlling their life, but their life is really controlling them. They wake up, they go here every single day. They wake up and they do this every single day. When in all reality, you should be able to wake up and then say, you know what, today I want to do this. Not have to be assigned to something that you have to do. And you have to do that thing because you need to pay this. And then you started making this, and then you started buying this. So now you have to do this to stay involved so you can keep that. When in all reality, you should be able to do what you want to do when you want to do it, not be assigned or attached or controlled to anything. So that's what I want people to be at, a position where they can do what they want to do when they want to do it, and they're not being controlled by the world.
That's great.
No,
So
thank you. I really appreciate what you got to say so far, man. I really appreciate it.
yeah, and I was just gonna say, so going back to what you were saying, how do people? Because it is more easier said than done, right? A lot, 90% of the people, 95% of people in the world work to live, not live to wait. I forgot what it is. Live to work, not work to live. Or was it work to live? That's anyways. You get what I mean. So a lot of people, they live just to work instead of working to live, right? They're not doing their passion to go out there. So how would you um like my last question, how would you best advice for somebody, because what you described is the cyclical cycle that majority of people live in, this 9 to 5, or it's actually 8 to 6 with the commute, right? This 8 to 6, or maybe 7 to 7 even, because you gotta get ready, you gotta dress, you gotta eat breakfast, and then you gotta drive. Gotta take a shower, you gotta do so 7 to 7. How do you help? Like, what if somebody would tell you, Joe, I want to escape the matrix. I'm tired of living this. I'm tired of living. I'm tired of working just to live, or I mean, living just to work, just to pay for my food, my rent, everything. What what can I do? How can I escape this cycle? How can I escape this matrix?
I would tell them it all starts with them. The first part is with you. You gotta know what you want, and you gotta believe that. First thing is you have to know what you want. What do you want? Who are you, and what do you truly want? Because I remember at one point in time, my mom kind of was like, you're just a dreamer. You're just wishful thinking. And I believed that the vision that I had for myself, that it was going to come into my life. I was going to be an entrepreneur. I was going to start, learning how money works. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that it was going to happen. And when the time met the opportunity, it was right then and there, and it was perfect timing for me. But I knew what I wanted, and I knew that I was coming. They trick us into believing that you have to know how. You do not have to know how. You do not have to know how. It's not a math equation. You don't have to know 2 + 2 = 4. You don't have to know the answer. You just have to know what you want. You just have to know that you want 4. You have to know that whatever it is that you want, you don't have to know the equation. They trick us into thinking, oh, you have to know how. The how is what's going to discourage you from even thinking you're going to get it. Bro, yeah, I can say I want to be a billionaire right now. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna make $1 billion today. Like, I just know that the right people, the right circumstances, the right opportunities, the right things are gonna come into my life to make it happen. So the first thing is knowing what you want and being in a receiving of those things when it comes to you. It's so backwards. Oh, work hard. You have to grind, and it was always people's mental. It was always the mentality. It was the way that you're thinking. You got to say, you know what, I want this. I don't know how I'm going to get it, but I know what's going to happen. Then you see something online. Read this book. Shoot, all right, cool. Read the book. What? Oh, my goodness. This book was just talking about money and how money works. Oh, wow. Yo, shoot. I love sneakers. I'm going to start selling sneakers. Boom. Oh, wow. I'm making all this money selling sneakers. Oh, my God. Boom. You know what? Yo, like, I always thought about, flipping cars. All right, cool. I'm going to start flipping cars. Boom. Yo, I don't know who's going to buy this car. Someone down the street's like, yo, I'm looking for a car. Boom. You didn't we couldn't have planned this out. There's no way that we were able to plan this podcast out for it to happen. There's no way you were going to be like, you know what? Xavier tells Chris, yo, Chris, you're going to meet somebody on Discord and you guys are going to connect, and then you guys are going to build a good relationship, and then you guys were going to get on a podcast together. Like, there was no way you would have been able to plan this situation out, but it came together. You do not have to know the steps. It doesn't even make sense. You wouldn't have been able to plan out the majority of the things that you have in your life. You weren't able to plan out all the steps. God put together all the steps, moved all the pieces, and made it happen. You just knew what you wanted, and you were there at the right time in the right place to make it happen. So all that, oh, you have to plan and you need to set. In my reality, that don't make sense to me. And shoot, we gonna see how it goes. But in my reality, people do plan because you have the mentality. You plan and you work and you force it to happen. It's gonna happen. But in my reality, I don't think I need to to stress and plan and fight with things. And why?
I think
When
one of the craziest things is too is that you're prepped to know when that situation comes to you, so you take advantage of it when it's there. Don't just, but you're put in situations where you've been in this before, and all right, this is where I need to clutch up, not clutch up, and
Mhm.
you got the opportunity, you got everything it takes to clutch up. Then it's just an action, right? So I totally agree with you, Joe.
It's all in, preparation at the right time, and you just got to be the right person too. You know, you got to be the right person at the right time and for it. Like, that's why self development is so important too. Where it's not like, you're just waiting for the opportunity to fall in your lap, but like, no, I'm growing. I'm constantly growing. I'm constantly developing myself. So when that opportunity happens, I had the skills to catch it and run with it.
Joe, how can people reach you? And we're definitely going to have a part two. Already going to have to plan it after this podcast. But where can the people find you?
My hashtag and my @ is Joe the King TV on all platforms. Joe the King TV on all platforms. Yeah, let's get connected. Let's make it happen.
That was great, man. I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I've been planning, but not planning, but it was just spontaneous, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
I think it was like yesterday or 2 days ago. I was like, you know what? I was thinking on bringing you onto the podcast, so I'm glad I did because this was a very powerful podcast, and I needed this podcast, honestly. So, thank you, my brother. It's great speaking to you again. Always high vibe, high vibrational. Every time I see you, you're always smiling. That's what I love about you. Like, no homo, your face glows, right? Like you light up a room, my brother. So thank you again. I appreciate you. This is Chriso.
Rizzo, thank you for finding my man Joe. Joe, thank you for being on the podcast. We're going to get this done again. We're going to talk some more. We're going to talk about business. We're going to talk about other type of things on the next podcast. You guys, that's been What's Out. Everybody, peace out.
Peace and love.